like that? Welcome back to another episode of Survival Time. We finna get into a singer who basically turned into a killer. So we finna see what the fuck is up because, like I say, Cali be built different. We got into one singer, Chris Bender, I believe his name was, and he was cold, but he ended up getting killed. But he was trying to leave a life alone. We got a nigga that's chasing a life, and that nigga was actually out here. You could tell he was out here by his swagger, his demeanor, and all that. The nigga had a 4 finger ring in the early '90s. Come on now, if that don't tell you that nigga was selling drugs at a point in time, I don't know what the fuck will. Let's get into it though.
Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. Suave was born Wayman Anderson on February 22, 1966 in Los Angeles, California. Suave grew up in South Central on Western and 39th Street, which is in the Rolling 30 Crips territory. Many kids had dreams of being the next superstar athlete, rapper, or even unfortunately with some influences in the urban communities, some wanted to be the next big time drug dealer or gangster, but not Suave. Music was in his blood from the start. His father was an R&B singer who was in a group in the 70s, so by the time he was a child, he was singing all the time. He was raised by his great-grandmother. He sang in the church choir and wrote songs and orchestrated R&B arrangements in a New Jack Swing style in his studio home growing up. He began writing music as a kid, and by his high school years, he was a well-known singer on the rise. He was just looking for a big break in the industry. He was first discovered at a New Edition concert in California in the mid-80s, when one of the members invited him to sing on stage with him. After this experience, he decided this was the career route that he wanted to take. This led to years later him signing with Capitol Records in 1988. He first released a cover version of the Temptations' 1964 song, My Girl. The song peaked at number 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 3 on the Billboard's Hot Black Singles chart, staying on the chart for 15 weeks. During that same year, Suave released his debut studio album called I'm Your Playmate, which peaked at 101 on the Billboard 200 and 26 on the Billboard R&B Albums chart. The follow-up single from the album was called Shake Your Body, which peaked at number 22 on the Billboard Hot Black Singles chart, staying on the chart for 12 weeks. His last single, Don't Rush, didn't chart at all. In 1991, Suave released his sophomore and last studio album to date, called To The Max, which failed to make any album charts, as well as the single Rock Your Boots also being a failure. With the failure of his album, this is where his life took a turn. Suave began selling drugs to support him and his family, and over the next few years, that would lead up to 1993, the year that everything changed for him. On the morning of September 18, 1993, allegedly a tall ponytail drug dealer burst through the door of a home. He was looking for 2 drug addicts who owed him money. Their names were supposed to be Punch and One Arm Will. Failing to find them, the man splashed gasoline along the house and twisted a newspaper into a torch and flicked his lighter. Witnesses told police a drug addict named Robert Wellington was killed in the ensuing blaze. Several weeks later, police tracked down One Arm Will. He was carrying a business card with a 10-digit phone number. The number turned out to be registered to Suave. Detectives included Suave's picture in an array of photos they showed to witnesses, including Robert Wellington's brother Willock, who was badly burned in a fire. He identified Suave as the arsonist, police reported. A woman named Patricia, who was a heroin addict and lived near the murder scene, also implicated Suave. Detectives said she identified him from a photo as the ponytail man who showed up at her door.
I just want to say this real fast, bro, because we did a boxer, and who basically was doing shit on the side. And he started robbing motherfuckers and shit. You can't be nowhere where you're a local superstar. You can't be doing crimes when you're a local superstar. When people used to blow me saying Tupac need to do this, Lil Wayne need to do that, Dirk need to do this, Dirk need to do that, Chief Keef need to do this, shit, that's you don't need to do shit. You are a popular face. It don't matter how popular or how big or how small. You have a crowd of people that know who you are and know what you do. So you have a name for yourself, especially when you in your own city. You got enough haters to ring bells within your own city because they'll be talking shit about the fact that you didn't blow up. So you always got to be cautious of what you're doing as far as like when you're trying to get money, especially when you're doing it in this way. I really feel like that was a dumb decision because your identity is pretty much out there already. Niggas might not have bought your album, but they know who you is and they familiar with you. And then it's going to be easier for them to point you out. And then they're going to have more photos to use against you because your face is out here versus a nigga who nobody knows. They got to get pictures of or get somebody to draw a description of. Then they can use that description to go along with what's going on. But for a nigga who already outside and like promoted his face to be a singer and all that shit or a rapper or whatever, you can't be out here committing crimes, nigga. It just looks dumb on your part because you can easily be identified.
An hour before the fire, she stated he was holding a handgun and a grenade and demanded to know the whereabouts of Punch and One Arm Will. In addition to identifying Suave as the ponytail man, The witnesses said they saw a black Ford Explorer leave the scene of the crime, a vehicle fitting the description that was registered in Suave's name. Prosecutors said cell phone data provided further proof of his guilt. A detective testified that around the time of the arson, a call was made on the phone registered in Suave's name, and he was by a cell phone tower near the crime scene. Suave's lawyer portrayed the prosecution's eyewitnesses as unreliable addicts. He also called the singer's hairdresser, who testified that Suave never wore his hair in a ponytail. But the attorney did not develop an alibi defense for Suave, who insisted he was out of state on the day of the killing. Suave said he traveled frequently as an entertainer and could not recall his exact whereabouts, but was confident that his credit card records would show he was not in California. At the trial, prosecutors convinced the jury that the entertainer known as Suave was a ruthless drug dealer who had torched the home, killing the men in revenge of an unpaid drug debt. Suave was sentenced to life in prison without parole for first-degree murder in 4 days deliberation. After being sentenced, Suave was said not to be stable and in bad mental health. While in jail, he told police that Suge Knight sent him to kill Biggie, which wouldn't make any sense because he was already in jail by this time and had been for years. Police gave him a lie detector test, which he failed. He continued to lie more about Suge Knight, in which they had no chance to even have talked or even met, with both being in jail at different times or never even running into each other at court.
This is why I say you can't get away with shit when you a figure and you a public figure and you strong like that. People will do shit to like just implicate you in some shit like that. But he on some goofy ass shit. For one, I'm gonna say this all the time as far as niggas like this will go. If you can't do the time, don't do the motherfucking crime. God damn it. And if you it's a million one ways to feed your motherfucking family. I don't care how much money you making on them streets. Your freedom is not worth the risk for real. That money ain't worth the risk for real because now you got to pay for these lawyers and all that shit. By the time you get done with that trial, you already out of money. He should have just let the shit go and whatever happened, kept his money and just made sure he was good or whatever he was going to do. But you done paid all this money off. You went broke pretty much basically after this trial and you still got your ass sent up for life. Then another thing is, nigga, you out here able to set shit on fire and let motherfuckers get killed and shit. Like, you better have balls to stand on that because once you get locked up, ain't no playing crazy, ain't no doing all that goof ass shit. Niggas will beat the shit out of you for the money or whatever they got to get up out of you if they can extort you for anything. You don't want to be up in there looking like that or acting like that. That's another reason why I say jail ain't for everybody and everybody ain't supposed to be in jail. You got some retarded ass niggas out here that's supposed to be locked the fuck up, but everybody don't deserve to be in jail. You got some dumbass niggas that make dumbass decisions, and this is a prime example. He made a dumbass decision too early in his life. Even though music might not have been going good for him, he could have still kept pursuing a career. Whether he would have been a background singer or shit, he could have been singing for somebody else and writing songs for somebody else. Anything that he needed to do to eat in that realm or to be big in that realm, he could have did it. Could have been a producer, anything. Niggas just choose to go this route because it's easier. I keep saying that. The easy route never pays you anything in the long run. That hard shit is what's really gonna solidify you and give you your ground to stand on. Always remember that. I keep saying this. I'm gonna say this every video. It's easy as fuck to die in these streets. It's hard to live in this world, my nigga. Get strong.
By 2002, he began filing for appeals. He believed his lawyer never was working in his interests and was only setting him up. That lawyer was recommended by Keefe D, he stated, who was involved in Tupac's death. He also blamed his cellmate Michael Robinson, who was an FBI informant for the Suge Knight plan. Along with police officers, he stated he was offered a portion of any settlement if he testified that the former police officer Rafael Perez told him that Officer David Mack was involved in Biggie's death. Both Mack and Perez have long denied any involvement in the
Now, for niggas who don't know who this nigga is, this nigga right here, Rafael Perez, that's the nigga that Denzel Washington played on Training Day. I'm only pausing this to say that because a lot of people don't know that that's a real story on a real situation and real events about a real cop squad. And he was the nigga that Denzel was portraying. He's the nigga that Denzel's acting like. That's why you can kind of see them features low key in his like face and all that. But we finna get back into this shit.
March 9th, 1997 murder of the New York rapper known as Biggie Smalls. After over a decade behind bars, by 2007, Suave recanted everything he ever said about the Biggie case. That same year, he asked the State Court of Appeals to throw out his conviction, contending new evidence showing that he had never committed the crime. Two witnesses who identified him at the trial as the arsonist gave sworn statements saying that they lied under pressure from the police. Suave's defense team also produced travel receipts and sworn witness statements that indicated he was in Jackson, Mississippi visiting his sister at the time of the killing. A preacher in Mississippi also stated that he seen Suave there. He stated, "I had nothing to do with this murder, and the police know it." Suave, who was 40 at the time, said during an interview at Corcoran State Prison, "My son was 6 when they locked me up. Last year, he graduated from high school. Have you have any idea how long that is?" Deputy District Attorney Ann Ingalls, who prosecuted him, declined to discuss his court petition, but she said she remained convinced of his guilt. "I have complete confidence in his verdict," she said. "There was overwhelming evidence that the defendant did it and that he had a motive to do it." One witness, Patricia, later stated, "I have never seen Wayman Anderson until detectives put out a photo lineup and took a pen and circled his photo." The statement said detectives told her to remember this face because he was the person responsible for killing her friend Robert. She stated, "I did not want to get railroaded on the charge I was facing by these detectives, so I played the game their way." The other witness, Willock, said in his statement, detectives pressured him to identify Suave, even though he was unsure he was the killer. He continued by saying he should have followed his first mind and said, "I was not sure, but detectives told me it was him. I know I had made a great mistake. I was trying to save my own skin." After several failed appeals, he would come back with several more claims that seemed crazy.
Names I won't mention during this recording because they're street cats. Tried to offer me money. One of the guys was an officer from Compton at one time, as everyone knows, who was Reggie Wright Jr., as well as Dr. Dre, offered me money to lure Suge with Terry Carter to the Towns parking lot because they wanted to kill him. So there was money placed on the table for Suge to be killed. Dr. Dre said that Suge was a thorn in his side and he wanted him out of there. Asked Terry, I said, "Terry, I can't do that. You know me and Suge is like brothers." He said, "Look, man, I'm behind on my house note as well as my children's life insurance policy that I need to pay this life insurance." He said, "Please do this for me, that they're willing to get you a lawyer." He said Reggie had cash money that he was willing to take to my family to pay me to help lure Suge to that parking lot. So as much as it hurts to do, I don't want to go into all the names, but I want Reggie and all.
First of all, nigga, if he innocent, God forgive me. But if he not, then he getting what he deserve at the end of the day, because I hate when a nigga start trying to snitch on other niggas to get their way out of some shit they put themselves into. Then where the fuck was these, like, why the fuck didn't you prove or pull up none of this shit your damn self? And I know niggas be up, I'm locked up. It's ways about doing things that you could have had your lawyer do and actually get a hold of certain records and shit to prove that you was out of town. And then another thing is with these police and shit, especially in Cali, they do this. They do pressure niggas. Back in the day, they was pressuring niggas to make statements and shit like that. So that's a partially believable situation. But as far as all the Suge Knight shit, no, I don't believe none of that shit. Why would Reggie want Suge Knight killed when by the time a lot of this shit happened, which is what he's talking about, by the time what he's talking about, when Reggie Wright came into the picture for real, for Death Row, Suge ended up going to jail not too long after that. And then Reggie Wright had to end up running Death Row after that. And then another thing is, Reggie didn't have no problem giving the shit back when he got out of jail. Then another thing is, nigga, why would Reggie want to kill this nigga and Reggie a whole police officer? Like, I understand people be trying to say niggas is dirty, but I don't believe Reggie Wright is a dirty cop. His daddy a police officer also, and I seen his daddy. His daddy don't seem like a dirty cop either. You could tell when niggas be dirty because they be having a certain demeanor about themselves and they always act like they better than the motherfucker. But to me, them like some humble police officers when you actually speaking to them respectfully versus when motherfuckers going off about silly shit on YouTube or whatever. Reggie Wright is really a respectable nigga. As far as when he comes to speaking up upon people and shit like that, especially giving credit to street people when he don't have to do that as a police officer. And he keep it a buck about everybody else. Another thing is, nigga, like I said, I hate a nigga that's gonna tell on another nigga to get himself out of a situation. Then on top of that, you lying about certain shit that you know damn well you didn't have nothing to do with, as far as trying to saying you killed two or Biggie or whatever, or you was hired to kill Biggie or whatever, however that's supposed to win. Like, nigga, you was locked up from this time to that time. What the fuck is they gonna pay you to do a hit for, and you can't even fucking get yourself home? Niggas be just saying any fucking thing. And this is why I hate when niggas get trapped and they know they shouldn't even been in that predicament or that situation. Then, like I said, if God is watching this and he watching over you like that, you know what I'm saying, he blessing you for some reason to make sure that you get out of your situation safely, because it could go left. Because I ain't really hearing him say nothing about nobody bothering him in jail or nobody stabbing him in jail or none of that. So I'll also add that on top of that too, because if he is innocent, then that's between him and God. But as far as what I'm seeing, it kind of look like this shit point to him anyway. Mind you, I'm not really hearing him too much give real detail about shit for real, as far as like what he was doing or his whereabouts for the day. Like how you can't come up with your whereabouts for the day, even if you is in and out of town. You should remember where the fuck you was just last at, nigga. You was only 20 something.
No, as well as Snoop is involved with this and other rappers who wanted Suge taken out.
Suave is still in prison and has stage 4 cancer and is now in a wheelchair, which all his appeals have been denied. Whether he did it or not is still a mystery, but with all the witnesses taking back all their statements, it's strange he hasn't got a chance for freedom. This will conclude this episode.
Man, when the system got you, they got you, bro. Regardless of what you thinking, it might have been a wrong situation, wrong time, whatever. Phone records is showing where you at and shit like that. And like she says, overwhelming evidence. But the system is looking at the evidence. They not looking at you. They don't give a fuck about you. Let's be real. And this should be a lesson for anybody, like I say, that's chasing their dreams. Like, be focused on your path and your passion. Also, for anybody out there that's thinking this shit is sweet, because you can go to jail for like we had a video of a motherfucker who he didn't have nothing to do with the crime. It's just the fact of who he was on the street that got him locked up for the crime. And that can happen. That happens often because you a suspect. Don't be a motherfucking suspect. And people be out here talking shit and shit like that as far as like certain people go. But people like this is where we need to be trying to figure out if these niggas did it or not. And we need to be trying to be supportive for that, because how the fuck didn't he get a real conviction overturned or whatever? If all of these people came back and turned their statements in and said motherfuckers lied about this and lied about that and this, that, and the third, then the ponytail shit can't nobody really hold up. From the picture that they had showed of the nigga at the time, he don't even have hair long enough for a fucking ponytail. But I don't know what the fuck, he might have cut his shit or whatever. But as far as what they saying and everything that's going against him, you could believe what the fuck possibly happened. He probably did have something to do with that shit. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Personally, I'm not even sure at this point. I only say I agree due to the simple fact that his phone was at the place around the time, and he trying to say he made a phone call around the time, and his number was on the damn dope fiend when they caught the dope fiend. Then it's just certain little shit that just don't add up. Not even just that, the fact that he was lying on Suge and them like that, trying to make it seem like, you know, he was a part of Death Row and this, that, and the third. Like, that makes me look at you a little suspicious, because I can't respect your word, because at that point you done already sold yourself off trying to sell another nigga up the river. And it's like, you really not even doing it right, because you had nothing to do with nothing with what they had going on. You really had nothing to do with what the fuck was going on at Death Row. Even if niggas wanted Suge killed, well, how the fuck was you finna orchestrate this meeting behind bars? Fuck out of here. Y'all let me know what the fuck y'all think. Like, subscribe, peace, I'm out of here. But like I said, if you out there chasing your dream, young man, chase your motherfucking dream. Young woman, chase your dream. Chase your dream. Don't be focused on all of this bullshit, because this is how easy you can slip into the system and then they not give a fuck about you. Nobody cares about your freedom. They only care about building cases. Peace.
Hey, these niggas bound to attack. Gotta know your purpose, understand what work is. These snakes is lurking, observing, trying to close up curtains. These hoes be perping.